waited 30 years for this.
5 heroes and villains we need in the sequel trilogy for Battlefront 2. Alright, so this is the last video of the series I'll be doing. The first was 5 heroes and villains we need in the prequel trilogy. The second was 5 heroes and villains we need in the original. And now I'm doing sequels. There isn't much to go on since we've only seen one film in the sequel era, so you guys will probably guess a few people that will be on this list. A little side note, Kylo Ren and Rey won't be on this list since they are already confirmed to be in the game, and heroes that we've already seen in the past, like Han and Luke, won't be on this list. So let's get started. This one's gonna be a little weird, but number 5, Supreme Leader Snoke. I told you guys this list would be weird. So Snoke is a character we know little to nothing about, but he's basically the Palpatine of the First Order. I'm not expecting him to be playable in the game at first, but just like the last Battlefront game, we will most likely have a DLC tie-in which will include the Last Jedi heroes and villains. And by that time, we will probably have seen Supreme Leader Snoke in action in The Last Jedi. So after that, we'll probably get enough of a taste of what Snoke can do to make him a villain in Battlefront 2. Again, we know little to nothing about Snoke, so I can't really guess any of his abilities since we know nothing about his Force capabilities. So let's just get right into the next one. Number 4. General Hux. Hux would be very similar to Krennic villain-wise. They're both high-ranking officers in their each given group, and both probably act the same. I see Hux being a more of a support villain for stormtroopers. He could wield a pistol that we see. I have no idea what it's called, but I know he has one from promotional images. He would probably die really fast though. I don't know, there's really nothing to say about Hux. He's just another First Order officer. He will basically be a cut and paste of Director Krennic, but for the First Order. This is hard to make a list, and that's why these characters are so low on the list, because we know little nothing about them. Let's just get into some abilities. First, I think Hux would have a rapid fire modification to his pistol. I don't know. I see him being the guy that's too afraid to be more accurate and just fire and spam. The second probably would be a health ring similar to Krennic's in Battlefront 1, and finally something where he calls in an orbital strike. It's hard to make a list on characters we've only seen in one film, and some of these characters we haven't even seen in action, so yeah, let's get into characters we know more about. Like number 3, Poe Dameron. Poe would be a special hero because, well, really, again, we know little nothing about him. We know what type of hero he'll be. He'll be kind of an assault in my opinion. He could use that blaster that we see him use in the beginning of The Force Awakens against Kylo Ren. That's probably what his weapon would be on the ground. And since space battles will be in Battlefront 2, we will probably see him as a hero for space battles. So let's just get into 3 abilities. One, I think this one would be different. It's when we hold down the trigger and it charges 4 times, and each time you get to a certain level, that gets more powerful. So let's say if you hold it down for the second level, it will do like half damage to a stormtrooper, but then if you go all 4 levels, it'll be an instant kill. Similar to Director Krennic's armor breaker shot, but less OP. Another could be an X-Wing strike, similar to the TIE Striker power-up we see in Battlefront 1, but this would be more powerful because that power-up kind of sucked in the grand scheme of things. So an X-Wing orbital strike from Poe's X-Wing, and maybe BB-8 could be flying the X-Wing. And finally, just a random power-up drop for friendly soldiers. Number 2, FN2187/Finn. Oh, Finn. Finn isn't really anything special, just a hero you could have. I don't know what weapon dice would give him though, considering he's wielded many weapons in the film. The standard First Order blaster when he's designated FN2187, Anakin's lightsaber, and that one blaster Han Solo gives him. Since you'll be able to rank up your heroes and upgrade them in Battlefront 2, we will probably see him start with a rifle that Han gives him, and you can work your way up to Anakin's lightsaber. Alright, enough speculating, let's just get into abilities. The first probably would be no cooldown rate, so similar to the cooling cell card in Battlefront. And now, what I said about the lightsaber, this ability counters that, so let's pretend there's no upgrading system for Finn's weapon. Then he should have an ability where he uses Anakin's lightsaber for a short period of time. He only activates it twice in the film, and both are short-lived engagements. Maybe this could be similar, like he could use Anakin's lightsaber for about 20 seconds. Something like that, like if you go into a corridor and there's 3 stormtroopers standing in front of you, activate it and kill them. And finally, just some grenade, because we don't really know much about Finn anyway, so I'm working with little here, guys. And finally, number 1. Captain Phasma. She would be at number 5 for most people's list because of how she acted in The Force Awakens, but you can't really judge someone on how they acted in one film. People love Boba Fett because of how he looked. Imagine if the only time we see him is in Return of the Jedi. we would all make fun of the guy for getting hit in the back by a blind guy, and then he just so happens to fall into a hole in the ground that never moves. We would all hate the guy and laugh at him, just like we do at Phasma right now. Phasma needs more character development, so we can start to learn more about her character and start to like her more. Hence why they are giving her a 5-comic series and a novel near the release of The Last Jedi. She would have her blaster, that chrome-plated one that we see in the movie, so let's just get into abilities. First off, it's rumored that she's going to have 2 personal stormtroopers in The Last Jedi. Basically like Death Troopers, but just with some minor coloring differences. And if that's true, why not make those 2 stormtroopers her partners in the game? Alright, so first ability would be a thermal imploder. She's the captain of all the stormtroopers in the First Order, so she's bound to have one. Another one could be an armor ring similar to Krennic's, and finally, just a faster fire rate. Now thinking about it, we've never seen Phasma fire her weapon once in the films, so I'm working with little to nothing here. This list was pretty hard to make, and making these abilities was even harder to make because we've only seen one film, and half the characters on here we know nothing about. Captain Phasma, she's never fired 1 shot. Poe Dameron, he fired 1 shot in the entire film, and the only other times we see him in action is flying an X-Wing. General Hux, same thing, standing up, screaming into a loud crew of stormtroopers. Nothing. So this list was probably the hardest one to make. So yeah, this concludes my 5 heroes and villains we need in every era because, well, I did every era. Someone commented on my last one saying that they want a KOTOR, like Old Republic, 5 heroes and villains we could see in that era. I don't know if I want to do that personally because, well, it's like 99.9% chance not going to happen. If the only reason I would do it is for fun, because, well, it would be fun making that list, but who knows. Anywho, if you guys like that idea, then comment it down below. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like, blast a like, and all that good stuff. And if you are new, subscribe for all things Star Wars. This is the First Order, signing out.